There. Good job. And I have to turn on Facebook.
So you've got me on here for the second time. You're making me feel more important than my parents do.
That's my job, man. That's my job. See, I figure one of these days you're going to get tired of living on the East Coast and you're going to move. When do you plan on moving?
Well, if you can give me $1 million for my house.
I can't. I actually probably can. It's just going to take me 5 or 8 years to pay it out. How does that feel?
Yeah, there you 20% interest. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You are your father's son.
I don't know if that's a compliment, but I'll take it.
It is. It is. He's one of the best businessmen I know. It's a great guy. Good stuff. Okay. So we have Grant Bim, who is joining us. Actually, I think you've been here once before. This is your second time. Very exciting. And I like touching base with successful people like yourself. Kind of gives us a baseline and things that we get to work on here. But before we go into the normal Reader's Digest thing, Grant, how many listings have you taken so far this year?
I'm at like 34, 35 for the year right now.
Okay. And how many of those have sold?
So right now I'm at 24 closed, 8 pending, and 95% of those are listings.
Got it. Good. And how many appointments do you have to go on to get a listing?
So my close rate right now is about 85%. Like we were chatting about before, 85, 87%. Like we were chatting about before, if anything, I'm a bit too picky. So, for me, my goal is to go on 10 listing appointments a month and to take 8. That is the goal.
Okay. So we've been, if you took 35 listings in 5.5 months, basically you're taking 5 listings a month ish.
Yep.
Does that sound right?
I'm a little bit behind right now. Yep. Some months I've been up at, 8, 10, and others I've been down at 4 or 5.
Okay. Yep. Grant, that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit. A lot of agents are having trouble getting 1 listing. Okay. 2 listings is a dream. 3 listings is fantasy land. Okay. And you're getting 5 or 6. You don't look that old. You haven't been in the business how long?
Well, I look good for 60, right? So
you look great for 60.
Yeah, so I've been, I tell people I've been in it my whole life. I got licensed after my freshman year of college. My dad had me get my license. I've been selling full time. My lacrosse career ended because of too many concussions. I started selling full time in 2019, which was my second semester senior year. So I've been full time ever since then. But in high school, my dad had me calling for sale by owners because frankly, he didn't want me to get into real estate. So he gave me the hard people. So it's so that's kind of what I cut my teeth on.
Good for you. Good for you. So 2019, and we're in 24, 5 years?
Yeah.
More or less?
Yep.
So let's back up just a minute here. Lacrosse, pretty physical sport, right?
Yes, very physical. They say it's like a marriage or whatever between football, basketball, soccer, hockey. So it's a beautiful sport. But yeah, it can get very physical.
And a lot of discipline involved in that.
Yes, that's what I was. I was never the most athletic. People might have thought that I was athletic, but that's just because of discipline and work. It's kind of like what I'm doing now. I mean, for an athlete, it's kind of easy to hop into the what you preach and Mike Ferry preach, which is, discipline and following a schedule. I mean, for me, it was kind of as someone with an addictive personality. In order to point into something good, I pointed it towards lacrosse. And addictive personality was that I had a schedule I followed with waking up at 5 o'clock and lifting, running, training, and then again in the afternoon. So for me, it was very easy and actually something good to have something positive to point it towards, which was discipline still of waking up early, working out, role playing, which was practice, and then hopping on the phones, which is the game, and then following that. So it was as an athlete, it's kind of it's a blessing and a curse, but it's definitely the discipline of an addictive personality being able to point something towards something good.
Yeah, you could have went the other way. You could have been addicted to cocaine or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a line, I'd do a mound. So that's that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that okay. So you knew you were in trouble before you got started.
Yep, no, that's what it's of seeing it go downhill with other, different folks. Frankly, I know and stuff. I've always stayed away from all that because I know that I won't do a bottle, I'll do a case. So I might as well stay away from it. And for me, it's sometimes I get myself in trouble. I have to be told, take a little bit of a break from work because I have known to burn myself out. So it's playing with it. But no, I've been known to work too much.
Grant, how many deals last year closed?
Last year I did so last year I was right around 50. I was like 48 or 51, somewhere right around there.
50 deals.
Yeah.
Okay. And 50 deals, and you're in what area of the
Uh
world?
Smack dab in between Baltimore and DC. So it's called I live in Howard County and I serve about an hour drive around there. When COVID hit in the market, went down to a third of what it used to be. We got wide, so we doubled our area. So but yeah, I'm right in between DC and Baltimore.
Got it. And last year you grossed how much?
Right around 500.
500. And $500, 500,000 enough for you to make a living on?
Yeah, no, it's definitely good. It's not where I want to be, that's for sure. I want to be more than that. So the goal this year is 75, which is, an easy number for an average commission's 10,000. So, that's about 750 is what the goal is.
Good for you. Good job. So let me ask you something. Do you so what's the goal to when you were working to 500? What was the goal? Was it only 500 or was it 500 is going to get me this? What was it?
I have the vision board, I have all that. So, I know what I'm working towards. So I always have an idea as to what I'm working towards, a goal. But what I really like to focus on is what are the activities I'm doing every day. So, and then the results will figure themselves out. So like you bring up lacrosse, hey, focus on what I can control. I can control how much I'm going to practice and as long as I practice and I do the activities I'm supposed to do, then the results will come. And that's kind of the way that I look at it. It was kind of like playing lacrosse is you practice a behind the back shot and you do it a couple hundred times. And then in a game, next thing you know, someone passes you the ball and you shoot a behind the back shot and you make a goal and you go, holy cow, where'd that come from? So,
Uh,
working on all that and it'll figure itself out. But no, so earlier this year I bought a house for myself, which was nice. So it's the first one I'm going to live in versus a rental. So I actually had something that I worked on with me and Tony where we said, hey, I want to have the amount of money for the down payment plus the repairs pending closed by that time. And I got pretty doggone close. So it's it is something that I'm working on is trying to figure out something that you and Mike have spoken about, which is have tos. How can I give myself not buying a crazy house and needing to make the mortgage payment, but how can I set myself so that what's something I can, push myself towards to have a have to work harder. So that's kind of what I focus on.
okay. All right. Activities and then the goals, the have tos. So how many rentals do you have?
We right now, between my dad My brother and myself, we're up to six. We're right around 11 or 12 doors.
Good for you.
We do it as a family. So, I don't like working with others, but as family, we do stuff together.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
But you do your business separate from your brother and your dad.
correct. Yep.
The
Business is separate and we'll buy investment properties and stuff like that together.
together. That's
Yep.
really smart. Really, really, really smart. Pool the money makes it go a lot further.
Yep, yep. We've got an offer on one place right now. Whether or not it comes together, we'll see. But that's where we're going now right now.
Awesome. Good job. Excellent. So, how many deals your brother do, more or less? Do you know?
I think Weston's goal this year is 50, I think is what his goal is. I don't know exactly. I think last
Okay.
year he ended up in the mid 30s, low 40s, mid 40s, somewhere right around there.
Got it. Got it. And your dad's always got a big goal, right?
Yes. Yep.
That
Last year between the three of us, I think that we were right over just over 200, I think is where we were.
200 transactions.
Yep. Pending and closed, including double
Hey,
ends.
yeah, your dad's good for 100 or so.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. So you come from people with high expectations and some great skills, and you've had some great training, right?
Yes. I'm very lucky and blessed for it.
So you're a young man, uh, and because of that, you probably have people in your ear that are, hey, try this, consider this, you could do more of this or more of that, or here's a new um, hot button, that
Yep.
kind of stuff. You could buy leads. You could, you've got plenty of money. You could do lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you stay? Well, A, have you tried all that other stuff?
To be frank with you, we have on money back guarantees because we don't believe in it. So we have tried a couple of that stuff on money back guarantees. We've tried ISAs, we've tried different stuff, and we do it. We say to them, we'll do it, but it's on a money back guarantee. And none of it ever pans out. So we always
Interesting.
get our money back, and we never
Got
get
it.
a deal out of it.
Interesting. So, so you're working, quote unquote, the system your father built his business on.
Yep.
And in fact, I believe that he was retired at the time that you and your brother said, we want to learn and we want to do it, right?
Yep. Talk about a change in life direction.
Yeah. Tell me the story. Tell us the story.
So yeah, so I was playing, growing up, we never really did vacations or anything. Vacations was always traveling to lacrosse tournaments and all that. So in
Lacrosse
college,
tournaments or Mike Ferry events.
yep, exactly. So yeah, growing up, it was in the car was Mike Ferry. So yeah, but and walking to his office, yeah, pictures of Mike Ferry get to work. But no, in college, my dad had semi-retired, been really smart with his money, set himself up really well. And he was traveling around, putting 30, 40,000 miles on his car, traveling to watch us, me and my brother play lacrosse in North Carolina and all over Kingdom Come. So he had semi-retired, selling 30-ish, 40-ish homes a year, joking around. And then next thing you know, I have a job offer with an IT tech company that I'd interned with in Florida that I was going to go to Dallas. Had too many concussions that they caught me on that they knew me of going into my senior year and the end of my lacrosse career. And I sat there and went, the only reason I went to college was lacrosse. If it weren't lacrosse, I'd military or sell real estate. So my dad spoke with Nito Cabane, who's a great business guy, great story at High Point. He's the president. Mike actually knows him really well. Mike from Earl Nightingale. And my dad said to Mr. Cabane or President Cabane, hey, my son's heading down the wrong direction. How about he comes home and figures out if he wants to sell real estate? So by the time that they had called me my second semester to finalize my job offer with Gartner, I had made more money than they said I would have made as a top earner. And I said, hey, I like this real estate thing better. So decided to do that. And because of that, my dad said, I can't let this punk kid beat me. So I got to get back to work. So, which is where we are today.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Essentially, though, you're working, quote unquote, the Mike Ferry system from the old guy, right?
Correct. Yes.
Right. And there's all kinds of other ways to make money, yet you guys aren't spending a lot of money to make the money you're making, and you're
No.
on track and you're disciplined. So,
Yes.
how do you stay with that discipline when you have all this other noise going on around you?
I because looking at it as an analytical, um, one, I've been around Mike Ferry system my whole life, so I know it works. My first day I came into real estate and I said to my dad, or my dad said, here's the scripts, hop on the phone. And I said to my dad, hey, do they work? And he said, it's what I use. And I said, well, does it work? And he said, yes. And I said, okay. So blind faith that my dad has the best intentions for me. But for me, I've looked at it and said, the least stressful thing that I can do is follow Mike Ferry because it's duplicatable and I know what to do and I'm in control versus social media and all that. I'm putting money out into the universe, hoping that something comes back to me. And if I'm spending $10,000, $20,000 and I get nothing back, I'm out $10,000, $20,000. Versus with Mike Ferry, I know that, hey, if I'm on the phone for 6 hours, I'm on the phone usually 5, 6 hours. Hey, it's 5, 6 hours, but I'm in control. And that's going to bring me, last year, $500,000, so far this year, right around $325,000. So, hey, that's pretty darn good. And frankly, there is no real stress. There's stress of me putting on myself to produce, but there's not outside stress of, holy cow, I just paid Zillow 30 grand. That, and for me, I don't like that. I like being in control. And I feel like with Zillow and all the other stuff, I'm not in control. I'm just throwing money and hoping something comes back. I don't like running my life on hope. I like doing it off of I'm in control. So I can control dials.
So Grant, I mean, that's great. And it sounds so simple and easy. However, you're one of, well, right now, three people, you, your father, and your brother,
Yeah.
that that I know of that really do it that way. I mean, obviously there's
Yeah.
others, but I mean, is it books you read? Is it food you eat? Is it where does that discipline and consistency come from? Where can I get it from?
Uh, I think to a certain extent, it's I have made conscious decisions to, like the equities in life. I have made conscious decisions to put this more in the forefront than other stuff. So, I have made a conscious decision that this is what I want to do. And I think it all starts with a conscious decision of saying, I'm going to do this. I think that's number one, because if your mindset's not there, then you might as well not even do it. But no, I do read books. I stay connected with all that, whether it's sales books or autobiographies or reading a book now. I think it's called Clear Mind. So that I'm just getting ready to start. So it's I am involved in all that, but also diet and eating well and doing all that. But I think the discipline is nothing more than the promises you keep to yourself. Can you keep the promise to yourself? And only you can do that. So it's a conscious decision.
That's a great thought. Discipline is keeping promises to yourself.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Excellent. Great. So you open for a few questions right now?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So let's open it up. Anyone have questions for Grant?
I do, Miriam.
Go ahead, Miriam.
Hi. So if you can only choose one source for business, which will that be?
One
What?
source, so that's a great question. So I'd go with the expireds and canceled, is what I would go with. They are coming back to market, not as much as they did in the past, but they're still there. So if you can just, I think that's always a great source. They've proven they want to sell, so you might as well be the hero in it.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Great question, Miriam. Thanks. Good information. Other questions for Grant?
Hey, Grant, this is Jack.
Hi.
Of your listings, taken, what are the majority of the source?
So expireds, canceled, and then also for sale by owners. Frankly, that's a majority of it. A little bit of just listed, just solds here. I do have one builder that I actually got from a just listed, just sold, or from not just listed, just sold from an expired. That's accounts for, that'll be about 3, 4 deals a year, but I don't have anything really that's super reoccurring. My past client center of influence doesn't bring me that much. And then from there, it's, I do call landowners, so that's accounted for a fair amount just from sitting on the phone calling them. But yeah, that's kind of where it breaks down.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Thank you. All right. Other questions for Beer? Did you have your hand up? No? Okay.
Question.
Got it. Other questions for Grant?
Question.
Go ahead.
Yes, Grant. Tell me, what is your definition of a lead? And then once you get the lead, how strong is your lead follow-up?
Yep. So, like me and Neil had chatted about before, my patience isn't always the best. So I kind of analytical, two kind of different sections. So if somebody says, "Hey, I'm selling, I'm interviewing realtors, I want somebody," I'm gonna call them 2, 3 times a day. If I talk to somebody that's a just listed, just sold, and they're saying, "Hey, I'm going to do something," or a landlord that rented their home out versus selling it, and they say, "Hey, I'm going to be selling in a year, 2 years," I'll call them halfway through. And then I'll try and do a touch up, see if they're still planning to sell. But that's typically what I'm doing. I'm either figuring out, are they interviewing a realtor? If they are, I'm going to be on them like a termite in a wood factory. And then if they don't say that they're selling, I'm going to figure out, do they have a plan for the future? If they do, I'm going to cut that in half and see. But I'm not doing drip campaigns or anything like that. I'm just calling.
Got it. So you spend a lot of time. I'd like to work on this, Miguel. Thanks for the question. Just for a minute, you don't immediately jump from a lead if they say, "I'll do something next year," or you don't say, "Okay, I'll put you down and keep you in there." You work to get an appointment right now, correct?
Yep.
So
No,
tell me more about that.
I have the mind. I forget that it's the book Go for No. And while they're still on the phone, baby, the game's still on. So that's kind of the mindset that I have, especially an expired, canceled, for sale by owner, anything of that nature where they showed I had interest in selling, then I'm gonna push. I'm gonna figure out, hey, if you just, I know I know you're waiting until next year. If you were to discover that waiting until next year would cause you to sell for less, would you still wait or would you look to sell now? Oh no, I'd sell now. Okay, well, let's go. Okay, well, no, I'm gonna wait till next year. Okay, well, are you waiting for personal reasons or do you think the market's going to get better next year? No, I think the market's going to get better. Okay, well, let's look at this mathematically. What's your average mortgage payment? $2,000 a month. Okay, you wait a year, that's $24,000. In a market where interest rates are going up, do you think your home's going to go up 24 grand to offset that difference of the mortgage payments you just made? Well, no. Well, let's sell your home now. So, going through that, I will push until they hang up or they kind of just say, "Hey, I understand. I had something major happen in the family." Okay, well, I get that. Family first. Okay, do you think you're going to sell next year? Yes, we're selling next year. Okay, well, so that I don't bother you or bug you, when would you like for me to give you a call back? Oh, give me a call back in February. I'm calling them in September, October. So I'm always trying to figure that out.
Got it. So then it's what I'm hearing is to put somebody in a follow-up for you and you don't do a drip campaign, right?
No.
Okay, so if it's a follow-up for a year, you're going to have already asked every one of those questions at least once, maybe more,
Yes.
before you even consider putting them in, quote unquote, a database.
Correct. Yes. And around us, we have military where they have their orders and it's not moving because they want to, it's moving because I have to move. So that comes around. I mean, I prospect into a neighborhood where I've sold, 6, 7, 8 homes, and I prospect there, and I'll call around that neighborhood probably once a quarter when I sell a home or just prospecting through, and people will say, hey, I'd call Mr. and Miss Smith, and Mr. Smith has orders to move to Alabama next year. Okay, well, his orders probably are coming up in April, May, this time frame. Okay, well, I'm going to call them later this year in September, October, see if he still has his orders, see if there's anything I can do to help, and then figure out, when should I follow back up. But that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Grant, let me ask you something, because I don't do military moves, never have. But if I buy a house a couple years ago, I'm in the military and I get orders 2-3 years later, but the house really hasn't moved price-wise very much. Do they cover the loss of the commissions and stuff?
So I don't do reload type. I don't do reload. I don't do those kind of military. So I'm not sure on that end. The military I've done where, before COVID, back in the olden days before COVID, the military people couldn't sell, so they had to rent it because they weren't going to do a short sale or they didn't have the funds. So they would, to answer your question directly, they would not make up the difference. So now the great thing for military is if, a lot of those folks who had unwanted rentals, they were rentals by need, not want, because they didn't have the equity. Now a lot of them can sell, which, has led to good things for military. But yeah, so they won't make up that difference. It's either they're doing, in the past, a lot of times, and especially today as the market has changed, you're seeing a lot more military folks renting because they don't want to do the short sale and they didn't put down enough money.
Interesting. So there's a interesting source opportunity there when you identify whether the person's in the military or not.
Yep. Around where I live, there's 3 military bases. There's a military base. Fort Meade is within a 20-minute drive from me. And then the NSA, who's probably listening to this call right now and all of our phone calls, they're within 15 minutes of me. I drive by.
I actually see the blinking light over here.
Yeah. So it is a fair amount of the folks that I reach out to, and I will go after that, at least have a conscious idea of around when I sell a home around those areas. There's a conscious idea of, hey, there's military folks around here. They're probably going to have to move, and they're moving. It's not a want to. It's a
no. They get orders to move. They're moving.
Yep.
Absolutely. Good stuff. All right. Other questions for Grant?
I have a question.
Sure. Go ahead, Marco.
So being on the phone for 5 or 6 hours is a lot of time being on the phones. So my question is, how do you stay focused for that long? And what do you do to not get bored?
Yes, that's a good question. It is tough. I was speaking with Tony Smith, my coach, about it. Is Mojo has made it, and Vulcan and all those folks have made it very easy to load numbers. I mean, yesterday from 10 until 11, I spoke with 2 people. I mean, that is tough. So I will have music on. I love country music. I'll listen to country music, or I'll have on a good podcast or something. But I'll be the first to admit, someone answers the phone and holy cow, I wasn't ready. So I'm not going to act like I'm above that. But it is definitely important to keep your mind focused on it. Something easy to do that I try to change sources to keep busy, to spice things up. That is something I will do. But no, I agree. It is difficult.
Grant, do you work doors?
Yes, I do, but not as much as I should. So you were talking about door knocking before. It is something that I need to do.
Well, talk to your dad and this is probably where you get it from in the past about past client and sphere. That's not a big source for him either, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, and isn't it interesting that his son has the same affliction?
Yep, agreed. Yep.
You know, I should just go around and talk to people about past client and sphere. We could all make a fortune.
Oh yeah, no, I'll give you a referral fee to get a hold of all mine.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I don't have things to do in the early morning. I could make phone calls.
Yeah, you're on the West Coast. You can wake up
Oh,
early.
perfect.
and
Yeah, I
get a
call
hold of all
anybody
my
every
people.
time.
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
question, Grant.
Go for it.
Dude, I
Kamal's
spoke to-
jumping in on my space. Hold on, buddy. This is my gig. No, go ahead.
Grant, I spoke to you at the production retreat in January, dude. You're awesome, dude, and you're so down to earth. You make everyone want to do real estate, dude, because it's not something that's hard. It's just a lot of work. But I want to ask you a question. How do you practice your skills, one? And well, I guess that's the only thing. How do you practice your skills? I mean, besides role play.
So it is something that I need to improve upon. But for me, I will wake up and either before my role play or after my role play, go through my scripts. And while to hit on the gentleman who asked about what do I do, to stay focused, I will go through my scripts that I am on while I'm prospecting. So it is something that we're working on. Me and my dad and brother have been talking about, and we need to. Every Sunday, our goal is to go through the listing presentation and master one section at a time. So it's kind of like in sports, it's working on the craft and doing that. But it is it is something that I work on, and I do need to do more of it, like everybody.
So, Grant, let me ask you a question here. Good question, Kamal. Thank you. Do you actually use the Mike Ferry listing presentation?
Not 100%. I'll be completely honest with you. Not 100%. I go through it. Frankly, I pre-qualify so much that a lot of times when I get there, because I've pre-qualified so much, I'm doing the 1 minute listing presentation a good amount. And a lot of times, quite honestly, impatience, which I need to work on, I'll say to them something along the lines, does a track record matter to you? Yes. Well, this is my track record. This is the other person. So can we agree what I do works? Yes, it does. Okay. So the only thing that matters is price. Go through it really quickly. And a lot of times I can get it tied down right there. But that is every Sunday. We are going to do that because I'll admit I need to do it because I do follow the Mike Ferry process with the listing presentation, but sometimes it's winging it in between. So in winging it doesn't work as well, as having a planned structure for the presentation.
Okay, well, I got a couple ideas. Maybe we can work together on it.
Agreed.
Good stuff. All right, other questions for Grant? Other questions for Grant? Let's go. Come on.
Grant, I have another question. How old are you when you started?
I started calling when I was in high school. So
For his dad.
Yeah, for my dad. I mean, so I was on, I'm lucky in the fact of I did 2 years of pre-K. So I'm older than I should, for the age. So I'd say, I don't know, 16, 17. I mean, I would show up on appointments with my dad and people would be like, holy cow, I said yes to this kid. But really, full time, I'm 26 or 27 now. So, I was probably 22, 23-ish, somewhere around there. I was born in 96.
Awesome.
Started
So-
in 19.
I have
And
cars
did you ever
older than
go-
that.
And did you ever go on appointments when you were 22, 23, and you do the presentation yourself, or was your dad kind of doing it?
When I first started, full transparency, he would come with. And we would go through it. And if I got stuck, he would let me fail and then he would jump in. Or I would go myself and fail or succeed. Today I go on my own appointments, and if he has an appointment where it's a higher price place, or both of us spoke to him and he set the appointment and I didn't, but I was following up with them, sometimes we'll go together, but a lot of times we're going on our own separate appointments.
Very cool.
Excellent. Good stuff. Great question, Kamal. Thanks. All right. Other questions for Grant?
Grant, I have a question. How do you handle the morning portion? Let's say, for example, you took a listing and there's stuff that is it's falling apart and you need the transaction needs immediate attention. I know. I see Neil smiling. Do you
They
stop?
need me. Don't you understand, Neil? They need me.
Yeah, so I
can
think it's
see.
so I was trained well with that. So again, lucky when I came in, and growing up, I kind of had the ability to delegate stuff, which was nice. And when I got into real estate, you know, and we started growing and picking up, we hired an assistant. So when I first got into real estate, my dad told me, and Mike said, "Hey, you know, this is money making time. No negativity, no nothing for 11:30. You know, I don't care, as I've told, my dad told me, and we told my brother, and we told our assistant Kimberly, and we've told my mom who helps. I don't care if the house is on fire. Don't call me, call the fire department, because I ain't going to do anything about it. You know, I can't help. So and the trick that you can play with yourself is, hey, you know, if this deal's going to fall apart, I might as well find another one to replace it, and it's going to sell either way again. So, and that's the part, and that's the beauty about taking listings, is that if it falls apart, you know, you just put it back active. You know, if you're working with buyers, then you have to go show them more homes again. But it's my morning. I put my phone on do not disturb. The only people who can really chat with me that it notifies for are my dad, my mom, my brothers, and that's it. Nobody else gets through. So that's an easy way to do it, is put your phone on do not disturb. My voicemail says if it's between the hours of 8 a.m. and 11:30, I'm in my morning appointments, and call Kimberly or my mom Valerie. So I train my clients for that. It's all about, not to go on a rant with it, but it's all about the expectations you set with your clients. If you set that with them, then they'll accept it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good job. Hey, Grant, do you have a third brother?
Yeah, he's actually out in California. He works for Howard Hughes's old company. He's not San Clemente. That's where my college roommate was. Santa Barbara or wherever it is. You know, wherever Howard Hughes's old company is.
It's Santa Monica.
Yeah, Santa Monica. That's where it is. That's where he lives. He's smart kid, triple major.
So there's a BIM kid on the West Coast.
Yeah, in Malibu.
Huh.
That's what my dad put in the comments. Malibu.
Huh.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay.
He uses
Text me his phone
degree.
number. I got
Yeah.
something to do this weekend.
He uses his degree. I don't.
Yeah, but I would guess that, you know, unless he's running the company, that you probably make more.
Yeah, no, it's I am lucky within the fact of my friends, it cracks them, you know, it's part of animosity from friends. I've lost more friends than I've gained, because in high school I was a dumb kid. You know, I was in the below grade level classes, but I think that people are below grade level classes, you know, it just work. If I have to hit my head against that wall 1,000 times for it to fall down, I'll just hit my head against it 1,000 times.
Yeah. Yeah, the agents love the story when they find out that I had 19 Ds in high school.
Yeah.
They said there wasn't 19 courses. Yeah, there were.
Yeah, no, I had an 18 on the 18 on the ACT. I was going to Air Force, and they said you have to do prep school, and I said I don't want to do prep school. So yeah.
I get it. I get it. Good stuff. All right. Other questions for Grant? Come on, you guys got it all?
Yes, I have a question.
Go ahead, Miguel.
Grant, tell me what fires you up right now?
Great question.
That is a good question. It's funny what I had. It's like you guys listened to my coaching call with Tony. I'm really I have to adjust my vision board, and I have to adjust what I want my life to look like by the time I'm 30. I have to adjust that, just to reinvigorate myself and get going again. What really, you know, right now for
That's
me.
4 years from now.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. So yeah, but no, I have to redo all that in order to get myself going again to further clarify it. And also with that, buying rental properties and doing all that really excites me. In the future, I'd love to build a home or two a year. It's something I always, have wanted to do. And then on top of that, the house that I bought for myself that I'm working on that I dress in a suit, but we do most of the work ourselves on our properties, which is probably stupid. But we probably lose more money doing it ourselves than we do, by hiring it out. But those are all things that get me going, that are exciting. It's tough seeing money go out of your bank account for a rental or something like that, but it's amazing how when it goes out, how quickly you replace it. So, all those things of I think you have to work from the aspect of people are motivated by pain and pleasure, and you need to work both the carrot and the stick. Growing up, I've been pleasure motivated, and if you work in the pleasure motivation your whole life, you're going to be in the clouds and you'll be going nowhere. If you're in the pain world all the time, you're going to be depressed and mad all the time. So you need to work both ends. It's kind of a multiple direction answer to the question, but I think you have to come at it from both ends of I want my life to look like this, but if I don't, then I'm going to be here, and holy cow, that sucks.
I love it. Good job. So Miriam had a couple questions here in the chat box. She asked about your personality style, and I think you've answered that a few times, that you're a quadruple analytical.
Yeah, I'm a recovering analytical. My friends, and if you see me at the seminar, some people might think I'm a driver. That's just because I'm not an extrovert. With work and everything, I have to be more outgoing. I'm to myself, and sometimes can be short, but I am an analytical. And under stress, I can be either very analytical or very much just get it over with, make a decision, move on. It's going to work out however it's going to work out. But yeah.
Good. Excellent. And I'm assuming you're calling from your home office.
Yep. So we work, we're lucky we work out of my dad's house and my mom's house. They're in the basement and I'm in the room that's attached to my bedroom. So it's good and bad. We're looking for an office because we have to get out. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think we would be a lot more efficient if we had an office.
Got it. Makes sense. Let me ask you, I want to go back to the goals real quick, okay? Because I think there's something here. Do you use short-term goals? Let me back up. I see the long-term big goal, the number of transactions and buying rentals. I see that, okay? What do you, and I see the vision board, but the vision board doesn't get you through the week. It gets you to usually to the year, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what do you do for yourself to keep you going on the week and the month?
So I have an index card that I lost. I probably lose it every 2 days and then I find it in a pocket of some of my pants. But I have on there my name, the month, the days I'm going to prospect, the hours and the amount of contacts I'm going to make per day, per week, for the month. And then on there I have my listing appointments, the goal of 10, listings taken, goal of 8, listings sold, goal of 6, buyer sales 1 for the month, and then income made for the month. And then I'll put at the bottom my deals closed goal that I should have for the month, and then income closed for the month. And then I'll sign it and I'll make a contract with myself every single month on an index card. And then at the end of the month, I'll staple it to the last page of my daily call charts. But to answer that, every single day I wake up, or if I look in my pocket or touch my pocket, Mike Ferry talks about the story of when he's golfing about his, he touches the index card. I've just done that to, if I'm on an appointment and I accidentally touch it, I go, hey, I need to close this because that's the goal.
Right. And then if you walk out and you don't have the closing, you touch the card and you know what you're supposed to do next.
Yep, exactly. And I, might get mad for a second, and then just go, all right, on to the next one. But yeah, it's that is something that we're always working on is, hey, what are the daily goals, weekly, monthly, and then focus on the activities. And I make it very regimented. I mean, in my calendar, I have it, people have asked me, how do you stick with a schedule? I have reminders and dingers that hit me that say, hey, it's 8 o'clock, most important appointment of the day, get on the phone. So I as somebody who knows I need it, I just give myself reminders to, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Very cool. Excellent. Question was, are there any books that you would highly recommend? Something that comes to mind real quick?
The normal ones of Think and Grow Rich, As a Man Thinketh, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all those books. I think those were I was not a big reader when they had ended my lacrosse career. I was, wasn't depressed or suicidal, but I was heading in the wrong direction of holy cow. And those were the first couple of books that I read that I probably read those books at least, one time a year. And every time you read them, you find something new that hits you in a different season of your life. So those are kind of the books that I always recommend.
Perfect. All right, everyone, unmute yourselves, please. Unmute yourselves. And let's give Grant a really big hand. All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Really good, Grant. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So what we do now is we're going to take some time, go through the room and ask the question, what did you learn? We talked about you having a hard stop here, but if you could stick around, great. If you can't, no harm, no foul. We really appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you. I'll stick around for a little.
All right, good stuff. Okay, what did we learn from Grant Bim today? What did we learn? Who wants to go first?
Yeah. Neil, the fact that he mentioned he had a blind faith, clear decision. I think he's very clear also what he's going after. And he got a great system, that he reminds of that.
Yeah, conscious decisions. Isn't that the two words, conscious decisions?
Correct.
Yeah, good stuff. Excellent. All right. What else did we learn?
I like the fact that he tied in the disciplines, where he said disciplines is only the promises you keep to yourself. He's very determined, very motivated. I mean, he means business. I was gonna say business. He means business, right? So I like that about him.
Yeah, it was really good. We talked before, we talked at Superstar Retreats, and I really felt today, Grant, at least for me, you make it simple. You make it not stressful. You're not pushing. This is my job. I got to get up in the morning. I got to do it. I got to start by this time. I got to be done by this time.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
It gets me in trouble because sometimes I don't bring emotions like I should. But yeah, it's it's what else am I going to do? Is kind of what I look at it like.
Right.
And he moves on, Neil. Did you notice that? How he just moves on?
Just
He's
moves
like,
on.
okay,
Yeah.
let's move
Yeah,
on.
it really, I picked that up today in a big way, in a simple way. That was really great. Good stuff. Okay. What else do we learn today?
He's in control, Neil, and being in control brought him $500,000 last year, so I guess it's not too bad.
And already 3-something this year, right?
Right.
Grant?
Yeah, so closed right now, I'm at like 340, and pending I've got like another 106. That'll all close here in the next month or two.
So you're basically earned, closed and pending so far this year, what you earned last year.
Yep. No, it's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
In
the past, I've only tracked. So in the past, I've only tracked what is net to me. So because we own the company, we take out 20% to the company, and that pays for everything. So this year I'm tracking the gross. So last year gross, was 500, just over that. Net to me is a little bit less than that. But gross this year, right now I'm tracking everything gross. So all that stuff, last year just over 5 gross. This year, all that's gross. So net take out about 20%.
I'm pretty impressed that you got your dad to keep it at 20%.
Yeah, no, that's why we have rentals and different stuff, so that make sure that everything's taken care of. But no,
Exactly.
yeah,
Good
but no,
stuff.
it's good.
All right. What else do we learn today? Let's go. Hello.
Neil, I love how he did that thing where he mentioned he got an addictive personality. I love how he was able to use it as in a positive way. The way it can mess you up when you use it in a very negative way, he is using that part of him to direct it in the right way.
No, it's a great observation on his part, and you're right. He uses it in a positive way. He could use it he could be a gambler, he could be drugs, he could be a womanizer, who knows, right?
Yes.
No, you're doing a great job with it, Grant.
I can't
Your mom
relate.
and dad have done a fabulous job with you guys.
You need to tell him that.
I should tell him?
You should tell him that.
All right. I'm coachable. I'll call him up as soon as we're done here. Send me your mother's cell phone number. All right. What else did we learn? No one else?
What city is he in? I'm sorry, I don't see that.
Oh, good.
I'm in Maryland, so right between DC and Baltimore.
Oh.
Got it. We got to post that. I'll get that posted to the group.
Thank you.
Got something,
Okay.
Neil.
Sorry?
Got something, Neil, from
Go
this. The way he answered the question about what's your standard of a lead and how do you follow up, the way he answered that, I like his ability of asking the question to the lead or to the prospect. I love that.
He's qualifying the lead, trying to set the appointment. Exactly.
It is hard. It's hard to think like that on the spot, and we need work on that. Yes.
Okay, great question. Great thought. So, did you learn that in one day, Grant, or did you study that? Talk to me.
So I, while driving down the road, have a scratch pad. That if I will either listen to music or roll the windows down and think and role play through different scenarios sometimes.
Tell us the truth. You sing loudly.
Yep, I would say sing loudly. I put on Good Direction by Billy Currington and scream it. But no, I'll think about different stuff, and if a good script or something comes to mind, I'll put my knee on the wheel and drive and scratch it down. But I also, when I first started, and not everybody has this, but we kind of do with Mike Ferry as well as Neil, is me and my dad were we built a prospecting booth at the first brokerage we were at, and I'd listen to different stuff he said and went, oh, that works. I'll do that. Also, as someone who has a quick tongue and gets me in trouble sometimes, where it comes out and before I can go, oh crap, it's already out there, which is good and bad. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, sometimes it works. So sometimes something will just come out, and if it works, I'll just write it down. But it is playing with scripts. Mike Ferry and Neil have objection handlers, and making sure you master those, and then working on other ones, because if that doesn't work, okay, let's do this. But always working on it and thinking about it is something that it's fun to do. Maybe that's just a sick, twisted mind, but it's fun.
Yeah, no, that's great. Good question, Miguel. Thank you. Good stuff. Anyone else have anything else they want to share about what they learned today? You guys. All right. Question for you, Grant. Who's the better salesperson, your dad, your brother, or you?
Oh, me, bar none. But because of my dad and because of Mike Ferry and because of you.
Well, that's very kind, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. remind me, I really want to work on that listing presentation idea.
Yeah.
I got something we can work on that. All right, everybody, unmute yourselves. Let's give him a big hand. All right. Good job. Good job. Grant, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you as always. And I'll see you in what, July? I'll see you there.
Yeah. Also, seriously, send me your mother's text.
I will.
All right.
All right. Thank
right.
you.
All right. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you, Neil.
Oh, my pleasure. I hope everybody got some good stuff out of this. I don't have the list. I deleted it. Does anybody have the list of who calls next?
I think I'm up, Neil.
It's me.
Who are you? Oh, Ernest. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Ernest, who comes after you? Do you know?
I don't.
Oh, it's not you.
A beer.
A beer. Yeah. Could you copy that?
Oh, yeah, 1:15.
Could you copy that, Miguel, and paste it in the chat box, the list? And I'm going to Grant BIM, and Grant's cell phone number is all right. I put Grant's cell phone number in there and I do not have his email address. I'll have to get it from.
Hi there, Mike. This is Ernest. I'm your local realty here in Camarillo. How are you doing today?
I will get, oh, I got to turn this stuff off.
Say,